Hey everybody, what's going on? It's John Brewer here, Lake Ida expert. I'm here with a good friend of mine, coach, mentor, and just all around good guy, Lee Probst. We work out here at Temple Martial Arts. It's, I guess, I don't know if you call it a dive gym. I mean, it's a great setup. There's fans. It's you come in here, you get your sweat going, you get your gym on, man. It's a great place to work out. Great people, great community. So, hey, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I call this a dive gym, but we're your garage gym for sure.
Garage gym, there you go.
Definitely your garage gym. You know, I think the new term is boutique gym.
There you go. Boutique.
I definitely would not use the word boutique to describe us. So yeah, we're Temple Martial Arts and Fitness. We're down here in beautiful Delray Beach, Florida, about a half a mile off the beach, just up half a mile up from George Bush Boulevard, if you guys know the area, right off Federal Highway. We're in a 4,000 square foot facility here. It's absolutely amazing. We've got a great front room. I kind of call that the showroom. That's where we do a lot of our private training up there. Then we have our main gym area, which is close to like 2,000 square feet, where we have if I can, kind of paint a picture for everybody. You have the main gym area, which would be similar like a CrossFit box, where you have a big CrossFit style cage where you can do multiple stations on that cage, but I went ahead and customized that so you have monkey bars that go across the top into like a cargo net, and even climbing rope, things like that. And then we do all the functional fitness out there. So of course we have other functional fitness equipment like TRX, kettlebells, slam balls, battle ropes, things like that. And on the other side of the gym, within that main garage gym area, is where we have our matted section. As you know, in our bag section, we've got an unbelievable set of bags. And we have extra mats where we could literally mat the whole gym if we wanted to, depending on the crowd that we have. And then from there, we have our offices. I run some of my other businesses out of here. We kind of have the clubhouse, and we built a cool shower out back. So yeah, it's fun. It's definitely the clubhouse. We're a club.
Yeah.
We like to talk about us as a club and creating a community. As opposed to just like your regular gym. We're definitely not, in LA Fitness or something like that, or not to knock on those guys, but it's definitely a different type of gym. You're going to get a serious workout here and get some new skills.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I came over here and just automatically fell in love with the vibe, and just connected with a lot of people that I hadn't connected with in the community. Charlie Brown, he used to be captain of the Sea Mist, comes in here, and it just seems like a great local vibe. And tell us a little bit maybe about the guys who are working with you and where they came from. I know you guys are like school buddies, or
yeah, we weren't actually school buddies, but excuse me, we've all been training together for a while. I will say my partners, so I have two partners. We have Brookes Burke and Shawn Ambrosino are two of my business partners here. I run the fitness. Brooks runs our striking program, which we mainly work on Muay Thai, Thai kickboxing, and then Coach Shawn runs our jiu-jitsu program. So we also train Brazilian jiu-jitsu as well. Let's see, the best way for me to kind of tell the story, I think, is really like getting into jiu-jitsu. I mean, I got into jiu-jitsu specifically a little over 5 years ago, so I'm still relatively new to training that martial art. But for me, at the time, I was basically 35 years old, and I wanted to learn a new skill, and just a new skill in general, and I decided that I wanted to learn a new martial art. And I had trained boxing and kickboxing and some different martial arts over the years since I was a kid, but never took anything like super serious, right? Like didn't get into competitions or anything like that. But anyway, fast forward to about 35 or so, and I wanted to learn something new. Decided everybody's been trying to get me into jiu-jitsu, so I talked to one of my buddies that had been trying to get me into it, and I went down with him out in West Boynton. The gym's not there any longer, but went there and literally fell in love with it like the first night, and I could tell.
What was it about it that kind of made you fall in love with it? I know it's such a big sport. I mean, Shawn, when I first got started here, told me to watch this movie, and I know like on the West Coast especially, there's just been like a Brazilian invasion over there, and everybody is taking to jiu-jitsu. I work out of Fort Lauderdale too, and another jiu-jitsu just went in there, and that place is packed. So a ton of kids are getting into it right now. I know that functionally, like if you get in a fight, not that anybody wants to get into a fight, but most fights are going to wind up on the ground.
Right.
So you could train Muay Thai and kickboxing all you want. Chances are, guys are going to try to take you out and put you on your back.
Right.
Maybe like compare it to judo and also wrestling.
Yeah, so I mean, so judo and jiu-jitsu kind of spawned from each other, so there's definitely some similarities there. Wrestling even, and even with the no-gi version of jiu-jitsu, which is based off of a lot of catch wrestling and grappling and things like that. So there's definitely some intertwining there. But for me, you know, falling in love with it, it just the tough aspect of it, the having to deal with very, very uncomfortable situations and dealing with stress was what really got me into it, was understanding that I could start to calm myself in a very stressful situation, and you know, know that I'm going to be okay. And for me, I've battled stress really my whole life. It's kind of been one of those ongoing battles. I do feel like I'm better at it than I ever have been, but that was one thing. It was just really for like that first night of falling in love with it was just really kind of what you described. Like where I've been in fights, I've been in, you know, multiple street fights when I was a kid, and even some different altercations as I became, you know, more of an adult. And so many things do go to the ground, and knowing how to defend myself on the ground, how to get out of the situation on the ground, probably most importantly, you know, how to get out of the situation, but being able to really handle myself. And as I learned more and more skills, my confidence level continued to grow. And
do you find you draw on that like in your business life as well? Like if you get in situations maybe where you're in a meeting or something and things aren't really going the way you want, you kind of, okay, let me calm down here, take a breath. How can I pivot this in a different direction? How can I move this in a different direction?
Totally. That absolutely happens all the time. Being able to handle different business situations, different life situations, especially on on the verbal side of things, and you know, or even just a problem. You know, even one of these. I'm trying to think of a specific example, but regardless, like a problem that you might have, that it could be the end of the world, but it's really not. But you know, where you're taking ownership of something, you know, being able to have the presence of mind that, hey, this isn't that big of a deal, or maybe it is, but this is how we're going to handle it. You know, so having that inner calmness as well as that inner confidence. Where I've definitely. Would say I've been a confident kid or a confident guy for most of my life, especially as I got into later teenage years and on, where I started to develop more of a good confidence and you know, with myself. But what jiu-jitsu gave me was this real internal confidence, where sometimes I don't care who you are. I mean, Coach Shawn even talks about his experiences. You know, confidence, sometimes it's just what we're projecting out there, and it's like a shell, right? Like you're just empty on the inside, you know, and I see it all the time. I think you and I talked about it when we were at the IKF, where, you know, we're at the IKF and we're around all these killers. These guys are all killers, and all of them are just calm and relaxed. Whereas, like, you go to like
guys you want to meet,
and they could destroy you.
You bump into them, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." You're like, dude, you could take my head off.
Where like, you know, you go to a party or you go to like the bar,
guys start drinking, and they haven't worked out in 20 years,
and they're all big chested and they're talking trash to you, and they just have, you know, bad attitudes and things like that, and they're looking, you know, they're mean mugging you, just waiting for you to say something. You know that dude probably doesn't train jiu-jitsu, because if he did, he would have been choked out by somebody probably 50 pounds, 60 pounds lighter than him, and, you know, checks the ego right away, you know. So it's that internal confidence.
I got to say, like, being at the IKF, the one thing that really impressed me was, and these are all amateurs, these are all people that aren't getting paid, and the amount of training and the amount of physical exertion and mental exertion that they're putting themselves through months to train for this 3 minutes. And the amount of sportsmanship, that I saw there. I mean, little kids that were just pounding on each other. I think that one fight where we can't, they would just rock 'em, sock 'em robots.
Yeah.
And later on, I seriously, I cried. I think about it, it gets me welled up. I saw them later on, and the kid who beat the other kid had his arm around the other guy and was walking him around the whole rest of the day. And he would just pat him on the back every once in a while because the other kid was just so down.
Right.
But that level of sportsmanship, you don't see it in football. You don't see it in baseball, really. These guys don't even shake hands out anymore after the done. Whereas you get two warriors who just beat the hell out of each other, and there's just such a camaraderie and I think an understanding for what the other guy went through, and what he must be going through being in defeat.
Right.
You know,
yeah, there is. There's a lot to all that with all the martial arts, and you definitely see it a lot with MMA these days, and of course with the UFC that's so prevalent. I mean, you see it. These guys trying to basically kill each other for anywhere from 15 minutes to 25 minutes, and then they're like best friends after, or at least have a good mutual respect for each other after. And that's definitely what jiu-jitsu teaches you. Jiu-jitsu teaches you a lot of that, teaches you a lot of the being humble. Again, back to, it's the, especially Brazilian jiu-jitsu, when we're talking about jiu-jitsu, is it was designed for the weaker opponent, in how to survive. And so, a lot of times you'll go up against opponents that are far smaller than you, and they are submitting you. I mean, I've had to tap to plenty of women, where man, they got the better of me, and it's part of that. In tapping, there's something very just, what's the right word? Humbling about tapping. I mean, it does something to you when you have to tap, and you do.
How vulnerable
you
are,
as a
person.
And it really checks that ego. I mean, I think we talk about a lot of that with jiu-jitsu, of checking the ego, which has been very good for me, and I see it helping all kinds of people.
I've heard that about jiu-jitsu, that one of the things about it is no matter who you are, how strong you are, once you start the process of jiu-jitsu, it's going to be humiliating and humbling in the beginning, no matter how strong you are or how whatever, because there's the technique that has to be. There's no way around it. You've got to go through the process.
Right. Exactly.
So you're going to get tapped. You're going to tap out.
Right.
And you're going to get your arm twisted. You're going to get You're going to get choked.
Yeah.
So there's no way to get around that. So to go through that process and to get your belt or to get to that next level, you're going to go through some humiliation, for lack of a better word.
Oh yeah, and we talk. You're going the hammer and the nail. You're going to be the nail for a long time. I was a nail for the long time, and actually, I'll kind of transition back to how we all kind of got into this as far as creating Temple. And what happened with me, I was definitely the nail for a long time, and I trained for about a year and a half or so. And it's kind of a whole nother story on what happened. But the gym that I was training at closed. The gentleman who ran the jiu-jitsu program there, who I'm still very good friends with, Tim Bruce, shout out to you, Tim, runs Novogenics up in Jupiter, PRP therapy. Somebody maybe you should get on the podcast too.
All right.
But anyway, Tim and Andy, great dudes, black belts. So Tim had moved everything up to Jupiter Jiu-Jitsu. For me, it was just a little too far to travel all the time consistently up to Jupiter to train. So went for about maybe like 6 months or so, really not training with anybody, picking up some open mats, going up to Jupiter here or there, doing my own trainings, of course staying fit and everything. And then a mutual friend of mine and Shawn and Brooks. Now I did not know Shawn or Brooks at this time, so this is like 4 years ago or so, give or take. And a friend of mine was like, we started talking jiu-jitsu and everything, and I said, I don't really have a school. I'm looking, to where I should go train and all that. And he's like, man, you really should, you should hit up Shawn and Coach Shawn.
All right, cool. Let's just pick that up.
Yeah. So so I met a mutual friend, Big Mike as we call him, and said I should check out Shawn, and he was coaching over at Temple, and I should really check those guys out. They're for him knowing me, he's like they're your type of guys, man. And so anyway, back then you basically you messaged Temple, which was Brookes, and he was in basically an office, no bigger than.
Yeah, weren't they down in Federal?
Yep,
I remember that.
So it's just a small little office on the second story. I messaged Brookes. He said, yeah, come down and talk to me. And we all kind of joked because back in those days, and even earlier as Brookes had started Temple Muay Thai and Temple Jiu-Jitsu basically out of his house and then moved everything over to this little office. It was like you had to be interviewed. Like
right.
you had to know somebody to even come train there. You couldn't just, nobody really walked in off the street. You just had to kind of know about it. And so I went down and sat with Brookes, and it was like an interview. It was very fun though. I mean, Brookes is a great dude. We hit it off right away, and at the end of about a half hour, 45 minutes of talking with him, he's like, yeah, man, why don't you come back and train with us? And it was like a Thursday, which we train jiu-jitsu on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and which we still do now. And he said, yeah, come back and train with us tonight. And so I did. And the rest of it is kind of history in the sense that I knew that I had found a home for jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And then started doing some striking with them as well. But my main passion and focus had been jiu-jitsu, and still to this day is really jiu-jitsu. So anyway, what ends up happening is, and with jiu-jitsu and with martial arts, you become pretty good friends with the people that you train with.
I noticed that, yeah.
You really become very tight with them, and especially with jiu-jitsu, where you're trying to choke each other out. You're trying to literally take people to the brink of death. You're trying to break their arms, things like that. Not really, but you're going through those motions. You
right.
become very, very close with these people. So Brookes and I and Coach Shawn had become very good friends. And so you fast forward to the end of 2016, and Brookes and I started talking. I was letting him know, hey, I'm kind of setting myself up to go out on my own. I was going to leave a major sport nutrition company that I was with, and I really wanted to train and coach, and I had ideas of opening up my own kind of warehouse gym and training myself and training others in the system that I was developing at the time. And so for me, it was just going to be like a warehouse key holder or key fob type of gym,
right?
Where you have like monthly memberships and things like that. So what I did was that we started talking, and it just was talk. And then Brookes and I ended up having like there was a day where it was coming into the end of 2016, and there was a day where I think I was on the road or something, and I just stopped by the gym and talked to him for like lunchtime, and we started talking some more, and he's like, as my idea was kind of developing, he's like, well, would you ever consider partnering? Would you want to partner? And I said, well, maybe, like, what are we talking about? And he's like, would you want to partner with me? Because I'm looking to get, into a bigger place and all
right.
that. Business is going pretty good. And I was like, well, yeah, man, if you are, sure, let's talk. So that talk just led to more talk. You get into 2017, and that's where things started getting real. We started looking at places. We started kind of putting a plan together. None of the places that we were first looking at were working. I say we were getting shut down. We weren't getting shut down because people didn't like us or whatever, but it was like the spot would just get taken out from underneath us, or we were just a little too late to sign a contract on a place,
right.
things like that. And then this place.
Where did you almost wind up? Any place?
Man, we ended up. What's in there now? The locksmith, CK Locks are in there. They had moved. We had looked at that spot. We had looked at where we almost had it, but it wouldn't have been this. But it probably would have been pretty cool too. Where that they're like a little bistro. Like one place went in there right across from the French restaurant on Federal. There's another little bistro. So if you turn right off of George Bush Boulevard,
right,
there's it's like the Nest or something, is like the antique shop.
Oh, the bakery that went in there?
Yeah, the thing that's right next to them.
Yeah.
So that was first like an Italian place or something.
Right.
So
right.
they ended up getting
small,
right,
though, isn't it?
Much small.
Yeah.
Much small. Well,
yeah.
we weren't going to be this big. We were only going to be. We weren't trying to be really big. We were so.
So let me ask you this. How do you find like the community is taking to Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu? I know the nighttime classes seem to be packed.
Oh yeah, packed. So
there's interest.
So what was good, Brookes had. We found this place, and we decided it was 4,000 square feet. It's a little bit bigger. we just said, all right, let's just do it. We're gonna struggle a little bit, but we can make it. Like, this is gonna be home. I mean, this place was awesome. As a blank shell, it was just awesome. And so that all happened in. I quit my job, signed the lease in April of 2017, literally like April 1st of 2017, and then we started building and getting everything ready, and we opened like June 8th of 2017, so it was awesome. And for me, it made sense to partner with Brookes, and we decided to keep the name. Brookes was open to like coming up with a whole new name. I'm like, no, it's Temple. We got to keep Temple.
It's a great name.
It encompasses everything that we want. But we created a new official business under Temple Martial Arts and Fitness. So I'm the and Fitness.